This interview is for information only and should not be considered as investment advice or a recommendation to buy shares in the company featured. Welcome to this Stock Box interview. Maser, the CEO of Forum Energy Metals, joins us today following the completion of the exploration program at the Quartz Gulch Copper-Cobalt project in Idaho. Rick, thank you very much for coming on. How are you?
Yeah, I'm very good today, Mark. Yourself?
Very good indeed, Rick. Thank you very much for your time. It's actually, I think, the first time that we're talking about this project, and it's your first exploration campaign. So before we look a little bit more at the history of the project and what it's all about, how did this initial exploration program go? How was it planned and what did it entail?
Yeah, Mark, we spent about 2 weeks, boots on the ground, exploring the property, just a good old-fashioned mapping, prospecting, and sampling program. Sampled as many rocks as we came across that looked interesting for cobalt mineralization on the property. And as you can see from the press release, the figure that we have there, we did a really good job covering the full 10 square kilometers of the property with some soil samples. So all of those are going to the lab in Ottawa, Ontario, Canada. For the next month or so, and we expect results sometime in late November.
Okay, but the program was a success in your eyes?
Totally. We haven't. We want to wait for the assays first. We always like to wait for our assays before we let you know. But geologically, it's been a very successful program from what we can see of the continuation of the trend from the adjoining deposits, the Blackbird historical mine and the Jervois Idaho cobalt operation, which is under development. We see similarities in the geology, and we're just waiting for assays.
Okay. Well, now that you mentioned Blackbird and Jervois there, can you tell us perhaps a little bit about the history of this project and indeed the Idaho Copper Belt? I believe there was some anomalies that just weren't followed up by the previous owner.
Yeah, well, the Idaho Cobalt Belt, the Blackbird mine, which is the historical area of cobalt, copper, gold production in Idaho, has been mined since the late 1800s. But the Noranda, which was a big Canadian mining company, mined the Blackbird deposit for many years until it shut down in 1982. And the Blackbird deposit was fairly large deposit, 17 million tons of historical grade, historical tons of cobalt, copper, and gold mineralization. Jervois Mining has recently just announced that they will be going into production at their Idaho cobalt operation, which is on trend with the historical Blackbird mine in mid-2022. So Forum has a very strategic landholding in the Idaho Cobalt Belt, just to the southeast of these two historical and soon-to-be producing projects.
Mm-hmm. Now, Jervois, then, as the RNS says, is the only permitted cobalt mine in North America. And 70% of the supply of cobalt comes from the DRC. Of course, there are associated problems with the source of cobalt from the DRC. How important do you think it is to have a homegrown, let's say, cobalt supply chain in the United States, what's the outlook look like for the commodity and the supply chain and the demand going forward? I mean, do you think it's really significant that there's only one permitted cobalt mine?
Well, absolutely. I mean, the United States has determined that cobalt is a critical metal. It's needed for as a battery metal for the evolving green energy movement and electric vehicles that are expected to be growing in leaps and bounds over the next 10 years. So a domestic supply of cobalt is hugely important to the government of the United States and to Jervois. I think they're going to do very well because it will be the only source of cobalt in North America going forward.
Okay. So yeah, significant to have a cobalt project then. Are you seeing any or getting a feeling on the ground of interest in terms of people or manufacturers looking to source their raw materials?
Certainly, I'm sure Jervois is seeking partnerships with suppliers. All I can say is they've really put together a very interesting company with regards to a domestic supply of cobalt to be producing a concentrate at the Idaho cobalt operation and shipping it to a recent acquisition of a refinery that they made in Brazil. And the refined product will be coming out of their refinery in Brazil.
And are you looking then, or is Forum looking to have a similar operation? I know it's early days, but is there a broader picture vision here?
Yeah, well, when we entered the energy metal space in 2018 and this opportunity came to us, we saw that it was a very strategic opportunity for Forum to be right next door to a potential new production of cobalt. So yeah, it's very strategic for us. It's the only project that we have outside of Saskatchewan, as you know. But we made this decision for a reason because we think it's very, very strategic where we're located, right next door to this historical mine and this new mine development. Okay,
and of course, having an energy metals portfolio being a really core part now, a key element of the strategy at Forum.
Yeah, I mean, this rounds out our diversified energy metal strategy. We have our uranium assets in the Athabasca Basin, which we will continue to explore with a renewed interest in uranium. We have the Janus Lake Copper Project, which is being explored by Rio Tinto. We have our nickel project at Love Lake, which we just completed a drill program, and we are waiting for results there. They should be coming out in November as well. And this cobalt project just rounds out our diversified portfolio across uranium, copper, cobalt, and nickel.
Okay. So the next stage of this project then is awaiting the results in November. And then what would you do? Look to form a further exploration plan, do you think?
Yeah, well, that's always a loaded question, Mark. Let's take a look at the results when we get the assays. We think they're going to be very positive. And depending on market reaction, we could continue further exploration of the project ourselves, or we may indeed seek a joint venture partner to further evaluate our Quartz Gulch Cobalt Copper Gold property.
Okay. Well, Rick Mazer, the CEO of Forum Energy Metals, thank you very much for your time today.
Okay, thank you, Mark. We'll talk again.
Thank you for listening to this Stockbox interview. For more information, interviews and videos, visit our website at stockboxmedia.com or give us a follow on Twitter by searching @StockboxMedia.